You didn't build this home. You built a shrine on sinking ground. The foundation was never peace. It was control disguised as comfort. You prayed for safety. God sent evacuation. The house is shaking because the lie finally reached the walls. They laughed while packing your downfall behind your back. This roof covered your body, but not your spirit. God tried to whisper, leave. Now he's screaming, run. What's coming will not knock. It will remove. You mistook stillness for safety. It was a pause before collapse. You begged to keep what was never yours. Someone inside the house called for your exit. You weren't protected there. You were postponed. The eviction isn't legal. It's spiritual. You were renting peace on a land cursed by secrets. They know you're about to be removed, and they're celebrating in silence. God isn't punishing you. He's removing the illusion of stability. What they built around you is now crumbling under truth. The house you prayed for became the cage you ignored. Every locked door is now a confession. You saw the cracks. You just loved the memories more. June won't end without revealing the real owner of that place. You were the covering, not the covered. What's coming feels cruel, but it's deliverance by disguise. Someone signed something behind your back. You're about to lose it because you stayed when you were told to go. You kept rebuking the shaking. God kept allowing it. You kept saying, this is mine. God kept showing you it wasn't. They welcomed you into a trap, not a home. The spirit of betrayal entered through the front door. Every memory in that house is now turning into evidence. You decorated your own prison and called it love. This isn't foreclosure. This is divine release. They kept the peace so you wouldn't check the papers. You prayed inside of it. They were praying on you in it. God won't bless what's built on manipulation. You kept the home tidy. They kept the truth hidden. Someone inside that house knows it's not yours anymore. You're losing the house to save your destiny. Don't mourn the loss. Mourn the illusion. A hidden agreement will break your lease. You weren't supposed to last this long in that atmosphere. The same place that sheltered you is now suffocating you. You stayed for memories. God's evicting for your future. The house rejected your spirit before your name. That sudden shift in energy, the eviction has begun. You protected them under a roof that was never sacred. What you thought was a blessing was spiritual bondage. God will not allow you to be buried where He wants you reborn. The storm won't miss this address. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Comment your favorite quote and subscribe for more. They handed your name to the system with a smile. You saw the shadow months ago and stayed anyway. The house knew before you did. You don't belong there. They chose your silence over your shelter. June is not ending in comfort. It's ending in cleansing. You asked God to reveal the hidden. This is it. They spoke your name over a deal that removes you. Someone erased your place while you were asleep in trust. That knock on the door, it's both a warning and a beginning. You are being released, not ruined. The place you prayed in is about to pray you out. That foundation was built on borrowed truth. They never saw it as your home, only your holding place. You're not being robbed. You're being redirected. The keys you hold no longer unlock alignment. It felt like safety because you hadn't tasted freedom. You thought you had time. The timeline has closed. This house carries the weight of every unspoken betrayal. They moved your name to a list you never signed up for. The structure you trust is made of spiritual paper. Every night you felt unrest. That was prophecy in disguise. You held up the home. Now it's time to be held. You won't leave empty. You'll leave awakened. You're about to learn why you were never truly welcome. The ground underneath is cracking with every truth you've avoided. This eviction is your emancipation. It was never a home. It was a delay with a roof. June will not end with false stability. You were surrounded, not supported. That structure couldn't contain who you're becoming. What's breaking is not just brick, it's belief. Someone signed something spiritual. The contract ends now. You're losing the home, but regaining your alignment. You stayed too long in what was always temporary. They knew you'd never leave unless it was forced. The roof kept you warm, but the walls drained your soul. You loved the house more than your growth. The eviction wasn't scheduled by man. A sudden event will force your departure. This isn't tragedy. It's divine intervention. The house served its purpose. Now it's done. They're hiding the letter, but heaven already sent the notice. What they refuse to tell you will soon reveal itself. A shift in energy is a shift in access. You'll pack your bags in silence, but heaven will roar. The exit will feel like exile, but it's elevation. Don't fight to keep what's spiritually releasing you. God won't let the door stay open to deception. You're not being thrown out. You're being called out. The spiritual lease expired. The soul knows it's time. Don't hold onto bricks God's Spirit is tearing down. A paper was signed without your permission, but with divine permission. They knew June was the deadline. You just felt the tension. They expect your panic. Respond with purpose. This loss is the unlocking of something sacred. That house taught you survival, but now you're called to thrive. Don't mourn what must release you. They built walls, not roots. The mail will bring truth before the voice does. Their tone shifted weeks ago. Your soul noticed. They made you feel like a guest in your own sanctuary. Something inside already started packing. When the power flickers, so will your denial. Your departure will make space for truth to flood in. Every locked cabinet hides a story. You ignored the peeling paint, but not the prophecy. This exit is sacred. The ground will tremble before the truth comes out. Your spirit is too large for these four walls now. You are holding up a roof that held you back. The address may change, but your calling remains. June holds both ending and emergence. What they owe you won't fit in boxes. The eviction won't break you. It will break their illusion of control. God will not let your spirit rot inside comfort. You were loyal to a house built on lies. What felt like home was just familiar pain. You were always the light. The house only cast shadows. The next place will require no pretending. Your spirit is being unchained. You're not the one being left behind. You're being led, not lost. They'll regret what they released. That place can no longer hold the weight of your purpose. This is sacred subtraction. Don't rush the packing. Let every item prophesy. Your next home is already being prepared. You won't recognize yourself after this release. Let the house collapse. You are the foundation. This departure will echo through your bloodline. God will restore what the move tries to break. You carried legacy through their limitation. The next place will not ask you to shrink. Let the last night there be worship, not weeping. They made room for your things, not your truth. You outgrew the blueprint they tried to contain you in. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. This house you love is not yours. It's the disguise they use to hold you still. You're about to lose the home because you refused to lose the lie. Someone signed you out spiritually before they signed you out legally. That roof isn't shelter, it's spiritual sedation. The ground beneath you groans with secrets they swore you'd never know. You're being pushed out to be pulled into purpose. The walls know more than they let on. Your spirit keeps trying to leave, even if your body won't. The house protected you once, but now it's consuming you. The eviction wasn't planned by man, it was whispered by heaven. That ceiling blocks more than just rain, it blocks revelation. You mistook safety for spiritual stagnation. The moment you questioned it, the countdown began. They're hiding your name behind legal smoke. This address was always borrowed. God tried to get you to walk out. Now he'll pull you out. You don't know it yet, but leaving is your breakthrough. The person who helped you move in is praying you leave. You called it home. Your spirit called it a cage. They laughed when you planted roots. It's not about the house. It's about who's been watching you from within it. Your peace packed up months ago. You're mourning what was supposed to expire. You stayed past the grace period. They offered shelter while plotting subtraction. The door is about to shut and not by your hand. What you thought was sacred was simply survival. That home was built on broken agreements. You're not being evicted. You're being extracted. The roof cracked when you prayed to be released. They built with wood. You need something built with truth. You let them in. They let you go. What you covered will now uncover you. They never planned to keep you past this month. God let the lights flicker so you'd start asking why. You noticed the cold. It wasn't winter, it was warning. They're watching your reaction, not your healing. What's being taken was never able to keep you anyway. You stayed for nostalgia. June comes with detachment. They fear your departure will expose their dependence. That final conversation was the real goodbye. This loss will wake the version of you forgot. They said but planned you. You were placed there, but not planted. The exit will break your heart, but free your voice. You kept the place warm. They just tolerated your presence. That home holds history that no longer fits your healing. You've tried fixing what God never told you to stay in. Every door isn't locked. Some are spiritually shut. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. The betrayal was quiet, but the eviction will echo. They offered peace, then planned chaos. You're losing the house because it's built on a borrowed promise. The love inside faded long before the lights did. The structure is cracking because your soul finally said no. The one who said stay is the reason you're leaving. You saw the signs in your sleep. They buried the warning in soft words. You were never meant to die in a place you only came to visit. The person you cooked for is cooking your exit. That dream about flooding wasn't just a dream. It's not punishment, it's sacred rearrangement. What breaks now will never bind you again. You thought the house kept you safe. It kept you silent. June didn't bring disaster. It brought divine correction. The door you keep knocking on was already sealed in spirit. You're not late. You're being lifted. That pain isn't random. It's warning. You lost nothing real, just what was pretending. The place wasn't cursed, just complete. What God removes, He always replaces with revelation. They prayed with you while planning without you. The same wall you leaned on is now your exit sign. Don't repaint the lie. Leave it behind. They moved you in for control, not connection. You watered a place that was never meant to grow you. The eviction starts in your spirit before it shows up on paper. They knew your time was up. They just never said it. You don't belong there anymore. You outgrew the silence. The air feels thinner because truth is rising. You made the house holy. They made it heavy. You covered them. Now God is covering you. What they hide in rooms will scream by July. They didn't remove you. The Spirit released you. You wanted peace. They wanted power. You saw the letter in your dream. They promised safety. They delivered exile. You begged to stay. God begged you to see. The house didn't reject you. It outlived its assignment. This exit will burn, but it will birth you. They planned for you to lose everything but your voice. This time, take your soul with you. The last thing you feel before it happens will be divine stillness. They'll cry when you leave, not because they love you, but because they lost control. You're not just packing bags, you're packing the truth. Don't fight what's being dismantled for your deliverance. This house will weep after you go. They kept your name on the lease, but erased your belonging. God is ending what you never had the courage to walk away from. You're not losing a home. You're regaining a throne. The floorboards remember the prayers. They'll remember your exit, too. They held the keys. God held the timing. Every door you close now is a gate you open later. Their silence is louder than eviction papers. You were too sacred for what that place became. The house protected your survival, but your rebirth can't happen there. What feels like punishment is mercy in disguise. Your spirit outgrew the square footage. A holy departure always looks like disaster to the unhealed. Your ancestors are guiding you out with whispers. They claimed they loved you. but they loved their comfort more. You gave that house more than it ever gave you. That ache in your stomach is prophetic resistance. The locks changed, but you already knew. You're being forced out because you'd never leave otherwise. Even the walls are tired of holding lies. Your name deserves a new address. The new space requires no mask. What they stole, God will expose. That goodbye will echo through their lineage. You stayed silent too long. Now the house will speak. June is not your ending, it's your unbinding. The eviction wasn't a curse. It was a course correction. That last conversation was more prophetic than casual. You've earned rest, not resistance. You were the blessing. They mistook you for baggage. Let the light in. Even if the door closes, the message is coming. Don't ignore the knock. What's collapsing isn't personal, it's prophetic. A roof that caged your dreams was never a home. Every memory you feared losing was keeping you small. They thought you'd break. You're about to build. Your faith will carry you farther than this eviction ever could. You're not homeless. You're spirit anchored. Let them shut the door. God's already opening a gate. You'll find heaven in a room you've never seen before. You are not what you lost. They watched you pray and still prepared your departure. This loss is holy. Every echo of pain was a prelude to this departure. God is reclaiming what was always His. Let them have the house, you carry the oil. This will be remembered as your release, not your ruin. You don't need their shelter. You carry sacred covering. That place kept your body. It never held your destiny. The blessing was never the bricks. It was the breath you brought inside them. If this touched your soul, don't scroll, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more.